name is Amanda Bolt-Chafin. I work at the Lane Community Technology Center in downtown Hamilton, Ohio. Today, you'll learn how to design, engrave, and cut your own dry erase acrylic wall decor to help you track and meet your goals. For today's project, you'll need two 12 by 20 1/8-inch acrylic sheets, preferably Glowforge's own proof grade brand. The project only requires one sheet, but it's always best to have a spare in case you make a mistake. You'll need 4 standoffs with anchors and screws, at least 1 dry erase marker, a Glowforge, and Inkscape vector graphics software. Acrylic wall art isn't just pretty. Because you can use dry erase markers on acrylic, your wall art can also be useful. Start to imagine what kind of dry erase board you might want to design. Search the internet for examples of other goal trackers and calendars. Think about which items you want to etch permanently, like lines and headings, and which items you want to leave for dry erase markers, like graphs, check marks, and dates. Once you know what you want to design, open Inkscape and click File and then Document Properties. Change the display units and the orientation units to inches. Decide how you want to display your tracker, landscape, which is horizontal, or portrait, which is vertical. For landscape, change the width to 20 and the height to 12. Swap those for portrait, changing the width to 12 and the height to 20. Click the X at the top right of the Document Properties menu to close it. Click File and then Save As. Give your project a location and a name, remembering to keep the SVG ending. Now your Inkspace workspace matches your acrylic. The Glowforge can't cut or etch to the very edges of the material. To account for this, we're going to create our own cut line. Click the Rectangle tool. Click and drag to draw a rectangle on your workspace. Click the Fill and Stroke tool. It looks like a paintbrush. Under the Fill tab, click the X. Under the Stroke Paint tab, click the Full Color square. Set the color to red 255. Under the Stroke Style tab, set the width to 1 point. That creates a nice, easy line for our laser to follow. Click the Selection tool. That's the arrow on the top left of the screen. Click your rectangle. At the top of the screen, change the width to 19 and the height to 10.5. Switch those two numbers if your final project will be in vertical orientation. Click File, Save, or type Command or Control S. Now you have a cut line. If you try to drill holes in the acrylic later, you run the risk of cracking the acrylic. To avoid that, let's let the laser cut those holes for us. Create a 1 by 1 square. The color doesn't matter. With the small square selected, click the Lock button to lock in those dimensions. Click the Circle tool. Then click and drag to create a circle anywhere on your workspace. Click the Selection tool and then set your circle's width and height to 0.4 inches. Lock those dimensions. With the circle still selected, click the Fill and Stroke tool. Under the Fill tab, select Flat Color and set the color to red 255, the same as your cut line. Under the Stroke Paint tab, click the X. Select your circle, then hold down Shift and select your small square. Click the Align and Distribute icon. It might be hiding under this little arrow at the bottom of the right side of the screen. With both the circle and the square selected, click the Align Right Edges icon and the Align Bottom Edges icon. Select both the circle and the square and then click Object Group. Select your grouped object. Then hold down Shift and select your cut line. In the Relative To field, select Biggest Object and then click Align Left Edges and Align Top Edges. Duplicate your grouped object by pressing Ctrl or Command D. Align the edges and then click the Rotate Clockwise icon until the hole is in the inside corner. Repeat until each corner has a round hole for the standoff location. Each hole should be exactly 1 inch from the cut line. Now ungroup those objects and delete the squares. We were only using them as guides. At this point, I usually like to create a new layer just for my cut lines and standoff locations. That way we can lock the layer and not worry about accidentally moving something while we're designing. Open the Layers panel. Click the Add New Layer button. Name the layer Cut and then click Add. Holding down Shift, select your cut line and your standoff locations. Right-click and choose Move to Layer. Select your cut layer and then click Move. In the Layers panel, click the lock to disable editing of the cut layer. Search the internet for some art to use on your wall art. When searching for images on the internet, try to download PNG files. You want simple black and white drawings or silhouettes instead of photographs, and you don't want backgrounds. Simpler, line-based images produce the best engravings. I like to use a site called Creazilla because the items are free and open source. Choose a few files in case one doesn't import well. Once you've downloaded your PNG files, it's time to import them into Inkscape. In Inkscape, click File and then Import and select your image. Click Open. The bitmap image import menu will appear. In the Import menu, click Smooth and then click OK. To ensure that your image cuts or engraves smoothly, we need to convert it from a raster graphic, which is pixelated, to a scalable vector graphic, which is a path. Click on your image. Click File and then Trace Bitmap. The Trace Bitmap menu will appear. Adjust the brightness threshold up to scan more detail or down to scan less detail, and then click Update. If you like the result, click OK. Your newly traced image is on top of your old image. Drag your new image away from your old image. Click your old image and press Delete. With your new image selected, click Path and then Object to Path. Repeat as necessary and arrange your graphics as desired. Now it's time to add text. Make sure your design layer is selected. Then click on the text tool and then click on the area that requires text. Type your text. Adjust the font, size, and style of the text at the top of the screen. Leave the color alone for now. If you're enjoying this video and you want more like it, I would like to invite you to like and subscribe or even leave a comment. You can also give us a shout out on Facebook. It helps to spread the word about all the cool resources and services we offer. Remember, leave blank spaces so that you can use your dry erase markers later. You don't want to engrave any dates or other specific information because that limits the lifespan of your wall art. Text either will not import into the Glowforge app at all, or it will not cleanly engrave the areas where two pieces of text meet. To prevent this, click on the Selection tool and then click on your text. Click Path and then Object to Path. If you're using a cursive font, you'll need to do a little more. After clicking Object to Path, click on the Bucket tool and fill in your text with any color. Select any of your filled-in letters and then click Object and lower to bottom. Your original text is now visible on just that letter. Select your old text and press Delete. Select your entire text, being careful to select everything. The text is now broken up into smaller pieces. Click Path and then Union. You can no longer edit your text as text, but the Glowforge can etch it correctly. Repeat for any additional text. Now it's time to color code our image. First, let's talk about how we use color for the Glowforge. Engraving cuts or burns away some material, leaving a single color, in this case white, behind. We're not printing, so no colors are transferred. Each color can be designated by a unique number or code. If you slide one value, say red, down a notch or two, the human eye may not notice a difference, but Inkscape and the Glowforge will. In the Glowforge app, different colors are separated out as different layers, allowing you to choose different settings like cut or engrave for each layer. I like to use 3 or 4 colors: red 255 for cut lines, green 255 for engravings, blue 255 for score lines, and sometimes full black in case I want a deeper or lighter engraving for a certain element. So with that in mind, let's color code our design. Click the Fill and Stroke tool on the right side of the screen. It opens up the Fill and Stroke menu. Click the Selection tool and then click on an object that you want to engrave. In the Fill and Stroke menu, click on the Fill tab, then click the solid square. Drag the G green slider all the way up to 255. Set the other colors to 0. Keep transparency where it is. Repeat for each object that you want to engrave. Click the selection tool and then click on an object that you want to score. A score is an outline. Boxes, lines, and graphs usually turn out well when scored. In the Fill and Stroke menu, click the Stroke Paint tab, then click the solid square. Drag the B blue slider all the way up to 255. Set the other colors as 0 and leave the transparency as is. Repeat for each object that you want to score. Your cut lines should already be red. If you still need cut lines, set them to Stroke Paint, Flat Color, and Red 255. Select everything in your design and click Path and then Object to Path. Select everything in your design and click Object and then Group. You want to etch on the back of the board, not the front, so your dry erase markers don't stain the edged areas. That means we have to mirror the design. Click the Selection tool and then click on your grouped design. Click the horizontal flip button at the top of the screen to mirror your design. Click File and Save, or press Ctrl or Command and S. Now it's time to etch. I used these settings, but I encourage you to do small-scale tests before you print. Machines, materials, and conditions may vary. Load your acrylic into the Glowforge, log into the Glowforge app, and upload your SVG file. For red, I chose Cut, Proof Grade, and 2 passes. For green, I chose Engrave, SD Graphic, and 1 pass. For blue, I chose Score, High Quality, Precision Power 70, and 1 pass. For black or text, I chose Engrave, SD Graphic, Precision Power 85, Speed 500, and 1 pass. I've also had good luck with Engrave, HD Graphic, and 1 pass. In the Glowforge app, don't forget to set your focus in the center of your design, and then click Print. Press the glowing button to start the machine. Peel away the masking tape from both sides of your design. Now it's time to hang the sign. For renter-friendly options, use command strips or clear mounting tape. Gather a pencil or marker, a level, a screwdriver, and a drill. Place the sign against the wall and make sure it's level. Mark the standoff locations with a pencil or marker. Drill the wall anchors into plaster or drywall, or drill a pilot hole into wood. Place the screws through the barrels and drill or screw the standoff barrels into the anchors or pilot holes. Thread the standoff caps through the sign, making sure to place 1 rubber washer against each side of the acrylic. Loosely attach the caps and then hand tighten. Enjoy your board! If you are located near Cincinnati or Hamilton, Ohio, and you'd like to learn more about how to design, cut, and etch a project of your own, or you'd like to attend any of our in-person tech classes, give us a call at 513-785-2727 or email us at techcenter@lanepl.org. For our hours and location information, check out our website at lanepl.org.